Hey everybody, One Wisdom here. This is the May 15th recording session. It's just about 3 in the morning right now. Part 128 we recorded Ninjini's upgrade path. Went ahead and took her down Ancient Djinn Magic. 129 we're going to hold out. I'm hoping to get Scarlet Ninjini soon. We'll take her down Swords of Might in that one, but don't have her right now. She is out. Here locally, GameStop had her late last week. Today, the 14th, technically yesterday, she should have been GameStop's nationwide. Target's set to release her the 19th. The way Target does things when they advertise something, they like to have the stock, unlike a lot of stores. That said, she's probably going to be tough to get there or go to scalpers. Again, if that's what you're planning on, I would suggest you go early. All that aside, I don't want to spend a lot of time on that. Part 130 and 131 are going to feature on Bouncer and Legendary Bouncer. I really like Bouncer's background story. I have to say, now that I've had all of the Giants, box stock, I think Bouncer might be the easiest to pick up and play with. I'm using that kind of like on a level for everyone. Yeah, I realize, like some Ninjini thump back, their sword and anchor attacks do a lot more damage. But just in terms of if you could only get one giant, I would have no problem at all recommending Bouncer. And again, that's box stock. Basically what I'm trying to say is I didn't have big expectations. Coming into the game, I thought Crusher, looked incredibly awesome. Basically, easily my #1 aesthetic. Eyebrow looked cool. I kind of thought Tree Rex was pretty sweet. Had big hopes for Hothead. Wasn't that excited, really, me personally, Ninjini. Neat concept, but it didn't really get me as excited as Crusher or something. Swarm wasn't too big on, just initial, again, which one would I buy if I could only get one type situation. And Bouncer, it's kind of the same thing. I realized he had the legendary version and everything, but he didn't have the aesthetics, didn't really have, the wow factor with him. But having completed the game, everyone box stock, he was very, very easy to pick up and dominate, all the enemies with. So right now on the blog, let's see, he has got 71 votes on his upgrade path. Again, you still got plenty of time to vote. I'm going to just basically keep extending these things until I get all these videos uploaded. But his two paths, let me scoot this over, Robot Rocketeer and I-Beam Supreme. Right now, I-Beam Supreme is up 15 votes. Pretty significant margin. A lot of these are tight. Like Ninjini's was just a landslide. 4 and 5 people basically picking Swords of Might, But 15 is fairly, significant. Now, obviously it's not a landslide, but it's also not super tight like you'd see with a Fright Rider or Tree Rex type pull. I think I kind of previewed everything ahead of time. I think I know what I'm going to do. I actually, the reason why it's 3 o'clock now, when I ended that one, it was not anywhere near there. I actually had to take Legendary Bouncer through Drobot, Double Trouble, went ahead and did Zap, just because it doesn't take long. Zaps for me really isn't a problem. Drobots, the way I do it with the Giants, it's really not an issue. It's mainly Double Trouble still, but with the 90 seconds you get for a Giant, it's not too bad as long as you don't break the paintings. Reason I hadn't done him already, I'd considered using him as my heroic challenger quester, but I think I'll probably go a different direction. Get somebody, that people would rather see, or, possibly a box stock Tornado again. Nonetheless, we're going to come in here, take a look. We'll begin with Bouncer, then do Legendary Bouncer. Right now, As you can see, this I think he's level 11 right now. I think speed is ridiculous. I've done most of the speed heroic challenges. When I went through and took the Giants through them all, I was still missing a few of the characters, so they don't have Wrecking Ball, you know, and a couple, maybe one or two others done. Armor 30. I don't know that anything on his upgrade pass will reflect that, but if it does, now we've got it recorded. Upgrades, though, that's what we want to take a look at. He begins. Primary attack is Fingerguns. Again, this is very trigger happy-ish and very effective. Wow, this has dropped a ton of frames. Didn't do it with Ninjini. I'm thinking I may stop right here and just begin again. Maybe not the first part, but starting here. So let me pause this, and it's already dropped 1,000 frames. At Ninjini we only had 14, but hopefully we can take care of this. Alright, this is attempt number 4 to go through Bouncer's upgrades without dropping thousands of frames in a minute. We'll see what happens. Back out of here. We begin with Fingerguns, as I'm watching the frames not drop this time, luckily. Press A to shoot rapid-fire ricocheting bouncy balls. Strange description, but again, it's basically reminiscent of Trigger Happy, and what we saw essentially with his upgrade, you know, bouncing bullets. Secondary attack that he's got box stock is shoulder rockets. Press B to launch rockets into the air that swiftly descend on enemies. His first purchased upgrade begins with his tertiary attack, just like we saw with Ninjini. It is the I-beam. Press Z to fire concentrated laser I-beams. Second upgrade is the targeting computer. Hold B to bring up a target and control where rockets land. Third upgrade is machine finger guns. Hold A to repeatedly fire finger guns at an accelerated rate. That should be interesting. And his last base upgrade is the cooler I-beam. Again, this hits the tertiary attack we started with. Increases the damage of the I-beam and reduces overheating. We now get to the point where you have to pick a path with Bouncer. His choices are Robot Rocketeer, the top path, and then down below is going to be I-beam Supreme. Robot Rocketeer begins with double targets. Now targets 6 enemies at a time with laser guided rockets. That sounds pretty sweet. Second down that path will be Rockets on Demand. While holding B, press A to launch unlimited rockets. That seems fairly significant. And then lastly, shoulder rockets leave explosions that damage enemies, kind of like a perk to a nice attack already. Again, that would be Robot Rocketeer. I-beam Supreme is this bottom path. Super Machine Finger Guns. Check out how his finger gun is basically transitioned into essentially a machine gun. Rate of fire for finger guns increases, and the big thing in addition to that is they do more damage too. Again, I'd love numbers. They don't give them to us. We're starting to drop frames again, which is very strange since there's no action here. Professionally cool I-beam. The I-beam does even more damage, yet overheats slower. And then lastly, and this looks pretty sweet, laser mines. While holding Z, press A to drop laser mines. His soul gem is Fists of Destruction. While holding A, press B to fire off rocket-powered homing fists. Soul gem, of course, can be found in the secret vault of secrets. Let's back out of here. Again, hopefully this video pieces together. He's got plenty of money. You just need 8,520 to upgrade a giant. Fully, mind you.
Welcome back.
Talk to Persephone, you know what she says. I'm hoping we don't drop any more frames. We're going to begin. His first upgrade is the I-beam. Cost is 300. Press Z to fire concentrated laser I-beams. We'll pick it up. Oh yeah, this explains it all, you flipping Microsoft junk. That would be why we were dropping them. Anytime Microsoft starts doing background work, you lose everything. It goes haywire. I just had the pop-up finally surface that they want to do updates. I postponed it 4 hours. Hopefully we don't have any issues with that junk. Anyway, that is probably why this will be a nightmare for me to edit. But the I-beams, let me see if I can turn them around here. I don't envision dropping frames now. That is sweet. I don't know the damage it's going to do. Okay, so we basically overheated it. While he's smoking, I can't use him. Now I can. But, yeah, that's kind of cool. We're now going to come in, upgrade. Hopefully Microsoft won't interfere. Targeting computer. Hold B to bring up a target and control where rockets land. The one complaint I had with the shoulder rockets, and while I preferred to just use his primary attack when I played with him, is you couldn't really control it. It would usually lock on a little bit, but this will be a nice touch, I think. Cost $420. Let's try that again. I'm a little frazzled at this point in time.
Supercharged!
So there they are, standard. If we hold B, let's see. Yeah, so you can basically lock on. I mean, say you had a whole bunch of chompies around that were getting blasted and you wanted to focus on like the Archean Duelist or something, just slide that over. His third upgrade, if I'm counting correctly, is Machine Fingerguns. This one's kind of cool. Name is a little misleading given the other in the path, but hold A to repeatedly fire fingerguns at an accelerated rate. Cost is $540.
Supercharged!
Yeah. You can just hold A now. I mean, it's really not a huge difference in my opinion, but I'm not going to complain about it. His final base upgrade hits his first upgrade, which was the tertiary attack, the I-beam. This one is the cooler I-beam. Increases the damage of the I-beam and reduces overheating. Obviously, that's what happens when he starts to smoke. We'll pick that up. Now, right here, if you're just upgrading, why are we dropping so many frames? Okay, so this is like the 8th time I've had to start and stop Bouncer's upgrades video just because of insane frames being dropped. I thought it was a Microsoft issue that was resolved and then it started up again, but we're to the point where you pick a path. If you're not sure what you want here, press B so you don't get locked in with a giant or a new lander. They do not have the ability to switch paths or purchase the other, so you are locked in short of resetting your character. What I like best about Bouncer is his machine finger guns, and that's what's addressed in the I-beam Supreme path. That said, that's why I'm going to take a legendary Bouncer down that path, and actually going to come in here and let regular Bouncer go down Robot Rocketeer, which doesn't look like a bad path at all. Fire off more rockets for greater damage. We'll select that and avoid having to see the cutscene again. What we purchased just before that was the cooler I-beam. We can probably do the I-beam longer and not overheat. So, yeah, kind of added a little element of blue to it, kind of like a red and blue color now. Starting to overheat and back out. Gonna come in now and I want to get this recording done before something spazzes out again. Robot Rocketeer is what we selected for Bouncer. It begins with double targets. You can now target 6 enemies at a time with laser-guided rockets. Cost is $10.20. I'm assuming that means they have to be self-done, but that seems a little tedious.
Supercharged! Launch sequence!
Quite sure we'll have to explore that one on the deck maybe where there's more room. Next up, rockets on demand. While holding B, press A to launch unlimited rockets. This seems really cool. Cost was $13.20.
on
let's
a
try
roll.
this. We'll hold B. Oh yeah, and you can adjust this on the fly. It does time you out of it, but it's pretty impressive. His final upgrade down in Robot Rocketeer, which also looks awesome, is called Atomic Clouds. Cost 1800. Shoulder rockets leave explosions that damage enemies. Doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, they're a rocket that hits the enemy, it should explode anyway, but you know, I will assume it's the atomic cloud doing it in the aftermath of the actual explosion.
Supercharged.
I think I could see it, but it was up top, so again, I'll have to show you on the deck. Lastly, with Bouncer, we've got a Soul Gem Fists of Destruction. While holding A, press B to fire off rocket-powered homing fists. Soul Gem is in the Secret Vault of Secrets, cost 2400. He's actually going to have plenty of cash left over to play around with Oryx stuff, pick up some Sky Stones or something, hats,
I'm on a roll.
and let's just go ahead and get out of here for this. Note that his Fingerguns didn't really change. That'll be down the other path, but here's the pouncing bullets. This is me just tapping A. However, now you can hold A. This is as quick as you can rotate while holding A. That said, you know, if you just rapid tap A, you can actually do a little bit better, in my opinion. It's kind of going to be a convenience versus effort thing for most people. The I-beam, the cooler I-beam, I guess we should say, it basically now, it's got kind of like that blue color mixed in with it. Be interesting to see how much damage it does. We can run it a little longer with just the base upgrade. What we want to do now is pay attention to his rockets. I'm just going to press the B button.
Go rocket.
Okay, that atomic cloud does do quite a bit more. That'll be nice. If you hold B, you can actually laser guide it. Then holding B and pressing A, we can actually just launch rockets however we want. You can just slide the laser guided cursor around. This isn't timing me out. Maybe I lifted up on the button. This is awesome, in all honesty. Issue is you're probably going to get ambushed from the front side, you know, but, you know, basically meaning the finger guns would be a better source. But from a distance or something, or if you've got like upper ground on an enemy, that would be extremely effective. I want to take a look now.
Not too shabby.
I feel like I'm kind of missing something on that one upgrade. Robot Rocketeer, this one now targets 6 enemies at a time with laser guided rockets. Not quite sure I know how to execute that one. I guess maybe if we had enemies here it would maybe make a bit more sense, but I mean, to do the laser guided, you hold it and then it just launches that one. I mean, it's hard for me to know what to expect, because to me, when you hold that down and you just start launching rockets endlessly and limitlessly, that seems better to me than just getting to do 6 enemies. But again, that may be a deal where we're actually going to need you know, like enemies on hand to check that out. But he upgraded very well, in my opinion.
Not too shabby, huh?
No, not at all. Again, nothing for the speed or the armor. That's kind of a disappointment. Would have been neat if he got like armor down one of these paths, but still, Bouncer, very, very pleasant surprise. Gonna take a legendary Bouncer down the I-beam Supreme path. I'm gonna end this recording though. It's basically like the nightmare recording you hope you never have. Again, I think I honestly had to start and stop like 8 times in this one. It just started dropping crud tons of frames. Then of course the Microsoft Windows Update crud popped up, and that's usually what's to blame. Took it a long time to pop up. Then the freak thing is I postponed it, and then we dropped a ton of frames prior to this, so The good news is this 7 minutes of the video is done pretty well. For what it's worth, I don't know what the start will be like, but my apologies in advance. I'm sure this video is not going to turn out very well, but it's something you can't really re-record. I mean, I'm not going to reset Bouncer and get all the money and do all the heroics and stuff again just to cover for that, but I'll try my best to piece it together. The main thing, this back end is intact, and that's really what matters. So hopefully you read the descriptions, because I'll make sure to point out that this video is a mess and you can just skip ahead. If you just heard that for the first time, it might pay off to start reading the descriptions. I try to keep them relatively short, but anyway, I think this looks like a pretty fun path. I'm not quite sure what's up with that target 6 enemy deal. Again, I think I might actually have to be somewhere with enemies to make sense of it. You know, if it auto does it for me, that'll be great, but otherwise it's really kind of a moot point, because the launching endless, limitless rockets is freaking awesome and kind of makes up for that regardless. Main thing will be how much damage they do. The atomic cloud actually looked really, really cool again. Hopefully that does some damage for us. I didn't show you a soul gem, did I? We gotta back out of here. Again, my apologies, this video has been a nightmare. How do we do that one? Was it hold B? No, it's hold A and press B. Wow, okay. I'm thinking that's one of those soul gems that's going to do a lot of damage. It's hold A and then press B, and they're going to home in. So assuming we had like a, I don't know, the Chompy Mage or some big bad enemy. I'll try to get it from this vantage point for you. Hold A and then press B. They get big, they shoot. It looks awesome. I'm thinking that's going to do a lot of damage, maybe like 60 minimal is what I'm thinking. Could be wrong, I don't know, but I'm going to find out and be happy. So the cool thing is, like I said though, they're supposed to home in, so maybe the enemy has moved or jumped or something. It should, in theory, track them down, and that's going to be awesome. It still delivers the boomstick, so like I said though, this video is a genuine mess. I've never had, in all of the Skylander recordings I've done, I've never seen frames drop at that rate. It happened earlier today with Brawl. Again, I mentioned that in the Ninjini recording, but I'll try to piece this one together as best I can. Again, my apologies in advance, but this path actually looks pretty good. Again, I decided to do I-Beam Supreme for Legendary because of the primary attack being addressed there with the I-Beam, which looks pretty cool. Again, me having everybody box stock through the blind playthrough, I don't really know how just the regular I-Beam does damage-wise. So we'll have to check into that, but I may run Bouncer through a heroic or something and kind of get a baseline on it before I do the legendary upgrades. But again, I'll do my best to piece this one together for you. My apologies there. Questions, comments you can ask on YouTube. For a quicker response, I suggest you use the blog oneofwisdom.blogspot.com. You follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook, circle me on Google+, whichever you prefer. Again, as always, the blog is your best bet for a quick response. Similarly, have upgrade path polls still active on the blog. Be sure to check those out and vote. Also, round 5 Castaways versus Newlanders. If you haven't voted in that, you might. If you see this video after the fact, we're probably going to be in around 6 or 7, so you can still vote there. But always something cool on the blog. Hopefully, you know, interesting and fun for everyone. That's what I try to make it. But I'm going to end this one, probably go play around and see what the Soul Gem does damage-wise and the stock I-Beam, so I can tell you when I upgrade Legendary. And then hopefully Legendary Bouncer doesn't drop frames like this, and we'll take it from there. But again, thanks for watching. I'll quit rambling. Once again, my apologies on the dropped frames. It's, I mean, sadly, nothing I can do. But I will catch you back here for part 131. Hey everybody, One of Wisdom here. This is technically part 130E, or the 5th recording of like 9 attempts on Bouncer. actually just did part 131, went pretty well with Legendary Bouncer. It bothered me though, not quite understanding why I couldn't target the 6 enemies, etc. Played around, I've actually figured it out now. What I'll do, I'll actually use these crates right there. All I'm going to do is hold down the B button. They didn't really explain this to you, but I'm going to slide it over here and just hold it. Nope, blue, green, yellow, red, gray. It launched off the 6 rockets, and that seems to be the key right there. Just for reference sake, I'm going to come in here.
Whoa! Check out my stats.
We're going to go to upgrades. Come over, and right here, double targets. Now target 6 enemies at a time with laser guided rockets. Doesn't really explain it to you. Again, like I said though, rockets on demand sort of makes up for that in big time fashion. That said, I mean, I finally figured it out. You know, you just come in, you laser guide it, and then I'm gonna actually only got 3 targets there, but I mean it basically double targeted the 3 of them. So I think that's it. Again, you just have to hold the B button down. If you just release it like I did there, it'll just launch the 1. But we'll come in here. I'll try to target that red square. And if you just hold it down, well, I guess you actually have to have something to hit, maybe. Is the key. That's probably why we couldn't figure it out prior. But we'll just kind of use that as our example. I mean, as you can see, it's pretty cool. So I can't complain too much there. But ironically now, we're not dropping frames at all. I don't know what the deal is, but I just wanted to add that video is going to be so bad with the frame drop rates. I'll actually be able to just toss this one in and it'll at least be decent for you. But did figure that out. That's kind of stuff bothered me sometimes. I know, I think somebody mentioned I did that with Hot Dog. I think on Pyro Pooch there was like you had to shoot fire while doing the wall or something, and then the wall does it or something along those lines. So little things like that sometimes the game doesn't explain, and when you're just on the deck without enemies, it's one of those things you may not immediately pick up on it. But that kind of bothered me. I know it's 4 in the morning, but it's just one of those things. I probably wouldn't have been able to sleep if I didn't figure it out. So took that down off the list. Hopefully it'll help me sleep at ease now. But like I said, I'll just splice this one in. That video's a mess anyway, so we'll see what happens. But again, thanks for watching, and my apologies on this part 130. It's going to be an interesting one to edit, needless to say. So like I said though, this path is looking pretty sweet. I think they'll both be fun, so we'll take it from there. We'll see it in story mode and probably make our final determinations there.